Namaste and welcome to today's YouTube video for when we don't have a lot of time for a lengthy practice involving a lot of pranayama, great amount of time for meditation, or a particularly long settling in period. I have a lot of those little snippets in my week where I want to do my yoga practice, and I use little sessions like this, little wing it sessions like the one I'm going to go through with you today, where I don't have anything planned in my mind. I just want to move my body, and for me this movement is a way of firstly connecting with my breath, and secondly it's a way for me of meditating. When I start to move my body through my yoga practice, I start to move mindfully. I become aware of how my body feels. I become aware of how my breath feels in my body, outside my body, my energy levels, and what I need right now. I almost become hyper aware sometimes of touch, of sensation. So for me, it's a form of meditation. Meditation doesn't necessarily have to be still and seated, the traditional image of what you might imagine meditation would be. So hopefully what I share with you now will be something that you can practice if you're short on time and you just want to move your body and get into some space. And hopefully this will demonstrate that you don't need to do things in a set way. I haven't planned anything, so I'm just going to see what pops into my mind. I might forget to do the left side if I've done the right side. I might go from upside down to forward folding. I might do all sorts of different things, but it's what's coming from my heart right now. So hopefully it'll move from my heart to your heart and it'll resonate with you as it does with me. If not, be inventive. Hopefully this class will help you to realize that you have the potential to move your body in a way that feels right for you. And that is one of the most important things that I like to stress about my yoga practice. And the yoga that I share with you out there is that it is yours. It's not mine, it's yours. So move in a way that feels right for you. Breathe in a way that feels right for you. We are all different, but we are all one. So join me now and see how you go. Adapt where you need to. So come to standing. Let's begin standing. Check how we're doing for time. So I'm going to make it short. Come to standing, relaxing your shoulders and just do a little bit of grounding through your feet. Spreading out the soles of your feet, starting to lift and engage through the pelvic floor. Connecting with your breath in your belly. And then bringing your palms together, feeling the connection with your hands in front of your chest, resting your thumbs on your sternums and spreading your fingers, pressing down to your feet, lifting through the crown of your head. Let's do some bending of the knees, reaching the arms up, straighten the legs, palms to touch. Exhale, bend the knees, palms together up to the chest. Inhale, reaching outwards as if you're scooping something up together. Exhale, taking your arms out, or wide palms together and up. We'll do one more of those, just warming up the knees. Bending, inhale, lifting up, maybe looking up this time, maybe a little bit of a back bend. Exhale, arms wide, bend the knees, scoop the hands together. Let's take an inhale, reach our arms up. Exhale, softly fold forwards, bending your knees, giving your knees a little bit of a shake out here. So if you're walking your knees, keeping your feet flat to the floor if it feels good, lifting one heel and then the other. Your hands might not be touching the floor. Make sure you're not straining to lift your head. Relax your neck. Lift the belly muscles instead. And as you're pedaling out your feet, you can bring your hands up onto your shins to come into a flat back position and feel how the pedaling of the legs exaggerates a little bit of moving of the shoulders as well, and you can really exaggerate that, pulling one shoulder back and the other forwards. Good. and come forwards to your flat back position, drawing your tailbone backwards, tucking the tailbone, reaching the crown of the head forward, lifting shoulders away from ears. Bending your knees, plant your hands, come down into a squat. My knees click all the time. If they click and hurt, don't come so deep into your squat. We're going to step straight back to down dog. Back into down dog. Again, you can pedal your feet out. And then gently bend your knees. Keep your hips pulling backwards. Bending, 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 pushing the floor away from you until your knees land on the floor. Keeping the toes tucked under, bottom to heels. Little child pose here. Maybe a sway. Thinking about lifting the belly away from your thighs. Draw yourself up to all fours. Untuck your toes. I like to lift my feet up. I'm going to circle my feet. Breathing. Listening to what my body wants. Spread your toes out. Circle your feet the other way. Lowering the backs of the feet to the floor. Pressing into the backs of the feet. Walking the hands under your shoulders. Turning your elbow creases forwards. Let's move through some cat-cows. Inhaling to lift the chest and the tailbone. Exhaling. Lifting the belly, chin to chest. Inhale, roll forwards. Lifting the chest, lifting the tailbone. Exhaling. Drawing the belly up and in. One more time. Inhale, chin to chin lifts, chest lifts, tailbone lifts. Exhale. Really squeeze the air out, lengthen the breath. And then come back to your neutral spine. And bring your hands one hand distance forwards of your shoulders. So gluing the the middle finger even into the floor. Bring the heels of your hands up to your middle finger and then flick your fingers out again. For most of us, this is about the right alignment for where our hands need to be to come into a down dog. Tucking your toes under as wide as your hips and then lifting your hips up and back. I've got my knees really deeply bent here and I'm just going to work with doing a little bit of bouncing forward, sending my weight forwards and backwards, warming up my shoulders. You can move a little bit more dynamically, coming up onto your tiptoes. Some of you might start to do some little bunny hops. Or some of you might stay here. I mean, forwards and backwards, what does your body need right now? And then begin to straighten out your legs. Excellent. Lift through the belly button and roll your weight forward. Rolling forwards to a plank. Bringing shoulders over wrists. Wearing the appropriate clothes helps. And then coming down to the floor. If you can, come down with a straight body. If not, bring knees, chest, chin. Untuck your toes. Lift up. Cobra. When you get to your cobra, feel free to move and explore the pose. I don't believe that we should stagnate in a pose if it feels uncomfortable. If it feels uncomfortable, there's something not right. And then lift up through all fours, come back into your child pose, this time with your toes flat to the floor, untucked, forehead to the floor. Reconnect with your breath. And then inhale, lift your chest, take your arms wide, lift up high onto your knees, reach your arms up and palms together. Knees under hips, so if they were a little bit wide from your child's pose, bring them back in. And we're going to squeeze our upper arms by our ears. Maybe cross the thumbs over at the back of the hands to keep the palms together. Reaching the fingertips up, circling the waist. Circling the upper body. Lovely, and changing direction. And then coming back to center. And exhaling, bringing your hands down to the floor. Spread your fingers as you bring your hands down to the floor. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a breath. Feel the connection, all the points of contact with you and the floor. Tuck your toes under. Maybe keep your eyes shut and lift up into down dog, keeping your eyes closed. Lifting hips up and back. Taking out that sense of sight. What does that do? What does that change? Bending your knees, keeping your eyes closed, and then hop, step or jump forwards. It's harder. Coming into a little squat at the front of your mat. And then inhale, straighten your legs, fold over your legs. Have a little ragdoll here. So turn your palms upwards and let your body sway side to side. Before slowly rolling up to stand. And if you want to, you can sway and roll. Like zombie rolls all the way up to stand. You can even take it into some circular zombie motions. Particularly if it's first thing in the morning, I find all of this kind of movement really helps wake up my spine, and then take those circular, loose, floppy shouldered zombie motions the other way. Good. Coming back to the front of your mat, readjusting any clothes that have ridden up, and coming to stand with your feet hip width apart. And we're going to take some chair poses, really warming up into the knees, the hips, strengthening the legs, building energy from the ground upwards today. So sitting back into your imaginary chair behind you, reaching your arms up, straightening your legs and taking your arms out behind you, coming into a flat back position, reaching the crown of the head forwards. Inhale, bend your knees, sit in your chair, reach your arms up. Exhale, graze fingertips to the floor, straighten the legs, reach the arms up behind you, flat back, lift the belly. One more, bend the knees, inhale, reach up through the fingers. Exhale, graze fingertips to the floor, come into a flat back. Imagine you're squeezing a block behind you, lift the kneecaps, reach tailbone back, crown of the head forward. Shoulders away from ears. Keep the arms reaching up behind you so you can fold over your legs. Keep the arms reaching out behind you. Lift your chest slightly. Step your left leg back into a lunge. Aeroplane lunge. Right knee is over ankle. Arms are squeezing out behind you. Inhale, reach up. Crescent lunge. Exhale, clip the left heel down. Warrior two. Open up your arms. I'll come sideways on so you can see. Let's reverse our warrior. Take the left arm back, right arm up. This is generally in my flow when I'm practicing at home. Exhale, right elbow to the knee, left arm up and over. It's a lovely stretchy movement. Inhale, up and back. Keeping the right knee bent. Exhale, elbow to knee, left arm over. Inhale, let's come back into warrior two, gazing over the front fingers. Exhale, bring both hands down the inside of the front foot and lift the back knee, coming into your lizard lunge. If it feels too strong, lower your back knee. Give yourself some space and walk your right foot out to the side. Sink your hips forwards. And here we're going to do some circling. Rather than the traditional forwards and backwards, into half splits and lizard. Today we're going to do circling, and I'm going to move my hands around as I circle. Exploring the different temperatures and sensations on my mat, the different elements of twist and pull and pressure in my body, and then coming back to a neutral position. Walking my right foot back to hip in front of the hip, bring my right hand to the outside of the right foot. Tuck the left toes under, lift the back knee, reach the crown of the head forward. Take your arms out behind you again, airplane lunge. Keep your arms behind you and see if you can step forwards, knees together, knees bent, chest resting on the thighs, arms out behind you, crown of the head reaches forward. Sit back into your chair. And then inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, straighten your legs. Flat back, lift the arms. Inhale, graze the floor with your fingertips, chair pose. Utkatasana. Exhale, flat back. Arms up behind you. One more, graze the floor, lift your arms up. Exhale, straighten the legs. Flat back. This time we're going to step the right foot back behind us into our lunge, keeping our chest lifted, arms squeezing up behind us. Lift up the right foot, find your balance, come into your airplane lunge. Well done. Inhale, crescent lunge. Pull the right hip forward, relax your shoulders. Relax into it, take an exhale here, wiggle your toes on the front foot. Are you gripping? Why are you holding on? Open up to warrior two. Clip the right heel down. Reach through your fingers. Let's do our reverse warrior flow. Take your right hand back, left hand lifts. Exhale, left elbow to knee, right hand up and over. Inhale, right hand comes back, left arm lifts up. One more. Left elbow to the knee, right arm reaches up. And back. Reverse warrior. Warrior two. As we come forwards, we're going to windmill our hands to the inside of our left foot. Lift the right heel and walk the left foot out to the left. You can lower the right knee, or if you want to, you do this circling with the back knee lifted. If it becomes too strong on the front knee, by all means lower the back knee because that will help. It's less loading on this front leg. Moving slowly, mindfully, changing direction a few times and connecting with your breath. Even closing your eyes can help. There doesn't have to be a rhythm or a pattern to this movement. The knee can traverse between being up and down. Coming back from your lizard pose, let's keep our hands under our shoulders and step back to down dog. Lifting hips up and back, shoulders away from ears. Lift the right leg up into the air behind you and bend your right knee. Take a few bends and straightens. Opening up your hip now. So seeing if you can stack your right hip on top of your left hip. Maybe looking underneath your right armpit. And then swinging your right knee, forwards to your right wrist. Sending your right foot across to your left. Lowering your back knee into a pigeon. Sliding the left leg backwards, lifting the heart. Wiggling and settling into the pose, pressing the outside of the right foot into the floor. Letting the weight of your body drop down. Keeping your pigeon high. If it feels too strong, some people like to come down here to take the pressure out of the low back. That's absolutely fine. Push the floor away from you with your hands. Breathe. If you want to have a little bit of gentle side to side rocking, that's okay. Be mindful of this right knee. And then we're going to sit our weight onto the right hip. As we do, we engage the hip flexors in the left leg. See if we can pick up the left leg and step it around either in front of the right shin, or some of you might be able to step it all the way over to the right of the right leg. Doesn't matter which one you go for, it could be here or here. We're going to hug the right knee and bring our left hand around behind us for a twist. Looking over our left shoulder, lifting from the tailbone, lifting through the crown of the head. Perhaps closing your eyes and using this moment of quiet, of still, to visualize a flow of breath down from the crown to the tailbone as you breathe in, and up from the tailbone to the crown of your head as you breathe out. And notice the spiral of that breath, the spiral of the prana. Turning your head back to the front, releasing the posture. Bringing your hands around to your right. This is my fun, funky way of getting out of this pose. So if your left foot is in front of your right shin, you can still do this. You might just need to do a little bit more jiggling to get there. It's slightly easier to do this one if you have your right foot on the outside of your right knee. We're going to keep the feet where they are. Move the hands behind us. Start to lift the hips up. The feet will stay where they are, but they will pivot. We keep walking the hands all the way behind us and to the right. And then we bend our knees. Hey, magic. And we're ending up in the opposite direction with the right leg crossed over. We take the left arm around the right knee. Again, if it feels uncomfortable, bring the right foot in front of the left shin. The left arm wraps around the right knee and the right arm moves around behind you for a twist. Again, it doesn't have to be mega deep. Or you can invent your own variation of a twist here, keeping your spine long, lengthening. And keeping your breath long and lengthening. Ujjayi breath. And turning back to the front, releasing. This time we're going to take the right leg, so we're going to reverse this sequence. We're going to take the right leg from wherever it is, and we're going to swing it around behind us, straightening it out when it comes behind us, and lifting up onto our hips, readjusting where your left shin is, and you're in pigeon with the left leg in front. Shoulders away from ears, you can be up on fingertips, hands can be flat, being mindful that if your hands are flat, the tendency is for this to happen with your shoulders. So lift out. One more breath here. By all means, you can pause this video and stay as long as you like in any of these poses. Then hands flat to the floor, tuck your right toes under, lift the right knee off the floor, so that's the back knee, so that we've got something to lift from. Press your hands into the floor, lift your hips, lift your left leg up into the air behind you, bend your left knee and open up your left hip, doing a few bends and straightens with your left knee, looking underneath your left armpit. And then turning your hips back down to the floor. And slowly, 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 still pushing the floor away from you with your hands, drawing your belly to your thighs as you bend your knees deep, 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 and bring your knees all the way down to the floor. Now to finish a brief sequence, to complete everything, we've done some forward folds, some mini back bends, we've done some twisting, we've done some work with our hips. To finish the sequence, I'd like to do an inversion. Various options for you. If you have a headstand or a handstand practice, go ahead now and move into your variation of your chosen headstand or handstand. If you don't have a headstand or handstand practice, that's fine. There's something called a Hare Pose, which is accessible to most people, and it's a really great posture to do. Starting off in child's pose with your bottoms to your heels. Perhaps fold your yoga mat over a couple of times to give yourself a little bit of padding, particularly if you're not a seasoned headstand practitioner. It can be very hard on your head at first. Bum to heels, forehead towards the floor. It doesn't matter if your bottom lifts off your heels in order to get the forehead to the floor here, because we're not going to stay here for very long. Then we're going to slowly shift the weight, roll the weight forward onto the crown of the head as we lift the hips up. My hands are staying in this triangle shape. So my head is the apex of the triangle and my two hands are the base. My elbows are at a nice 90-degree bend here. Now this is a hare's pose. You are in a headstand variation here. There is no need for you to go any further. Relax into it and breathe, and when you're ready to come out of this posture, you roll back into your child's pose. Let your arms drop down by your sides. Let your shoulders drop towards the floor. For those of you that want to, and you kind of know the premise of a headstand, but it feels a little bit wobbly, a little bit unsafe, use a wall. There is no shame in using a wall. So again, you can fold your mat over a couple of times or not. If you have particularly baggy t-shirts and things on, I recommend tucking them in. Not because no one wants to see your stomachs, because you've all got beautiful stomachs. Nothing to do with that. Sometimes t-shirts flop overhead and it's a bit disorientating when you're upside down. So again, you can choose. You can do your tripod headstand with your hands and head making a triangle. Today I'm going to do my bound headstand. Binding my hands and pressing my forearms into the floor. This option is for those of you who know how to do it, but feel a bit wobbly. So crown of the head to the floor, press the elbows into the floor, tuck the toes, lift the hips. You can stay here. Or you can start to walk your feet in, still pressing your elbows down. Make sure your elbows don't lift off the floor until you feel like, oh, I could forward roll here. Maybe then lift one foot and then maybe the other, coming into a little egg shape. Don't go any further until you're in your egg shape if you need to. Oh look, there's the wall. My feet are on the wall. You can hear it. I am safe. I'm not going to fall. Pressing your hips forward, maybe extending one leg up. Maybe extending one leg but keeping it on the wall. And then the other. When you feel confident, you can start to take those feet away from the wall and hey, you're there. You can experiment. You can play with this. You can take your legs wide or you can bring them together and you can be an upside down tree. All sorts of things. You could fall out of it and that's fine. When you're done, this is a brief class, so I'm not going to go too much into it, but remember when you're done, before you move anywhere, take a Balasana, a child's pose. Perhaps even what I like to do is to rest the backs of my hands on my low back here, maybe hooking your thumbs, maybe not, spreading your fingers, palms facing upwards, reconnecting with your breath. Taking 5 deep, slow, steady breaths. And then staying low to the ground, reaching your arms out in front of you. We're going to roll over onto our right hand side. So we're going to stay low. We're going to roll over our right arm. Left arm lengthens out as well. The legs start to lengthen out as we roll. And that rolling turns into some windscreen wiping off the knees with your arms reaching up overhead. But you're on your back. Bring your knees together in towards your chest for a final knee hug. And then let your head drop. Let your knees, your feet drop. If you need to, your feet can go wide, your knees can rest together. You can extend your legs. And you can rest in Shavasana now for as long as you like. If you want to stay here, you're welcome to pause this video, or I've also, on my channel, I also have just a solely Shavasana video, so you could perhaps put that one on now. Get yourselves relaxed and comfortable. But please don't skip the Shavasana entirely. Just a few deep breaths to let go, and then a few moments of complete stillness. It is the time for your body to assimilate the practice. Not to think about it, not to analyze it, but for your body to really benefit, for your energy to benefit, not just your energy, but the energy of those around you. You'll go into your day, hopefully a better person for practicing some yoga today, moving mindfully, having your own moving meditation and connecting with your breath. So again, stay as long as you like, resting, relaxing, and when you're ready you can continue with your day. For now, I'm going to say Namaste, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you for joining me.